Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan. Maybe this is the way to go. And it dovetails to a conversation about the Chinese communists, too, because of the AI development that President Biden has announced the federal government will spearhead under the able leadership of Kamala Harris, who can explain to people what AI is. But in Poland...
She's aware that she's a sentient being, right? She's aware that she's alive.
Hard to know. Polish spirits company called Dictador has appointed the first ever AI-powered humanoid robot to be its CEO. The humanoid robot is named Mika. Could replace...
Mika Brzezinski?
Yeah. That would be a significant upgrade in intellect. But anyway, this is a partnership between this Polish spirits company and a company called Hanson Robotics. First ever humanoid robot CEO. Mika, I almost said she, Mika, the robot CEO, was interviewed by Lauren Simonetti over at Fox Business, and it went something like this.
What work do you do?
I am currently working on the M-City Golden Cities project, the first billion-dollar collection. Equipped with advanced artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, I can swiftly and accurately make data-driven decisions.
That might take a while. There's a significant delay in the time it takes for Micah to interpret and answer your question.
Well, I mean, the same goes for a lot of CEOs, political leaders, President of the United States, for example.
Bring me a glass full of Polish mead, okay?
I think she's the one giving orders. I don't think you understand how the hierarchy works.
See, that would make me thirsty if a gorgeous AI robot would be bringing me the mead. I will not serve the mead myself.
So, what about, I mean, this is sort of important, isn't it? David Hansen is Mr. Hansen Robotics. He had this to say about Mika and this brave new frontier we're traversing.
It's also about sentience.
I feel very strongly that that we need to teach AI to care about people, for AI to be really safe, to be really, really good. I think humanizing the AI is a very important direction.
Christopher Whalen is an investment banker, chairman of Whalen Global Advisors, author of Ford Men, From Inspiration to Enterprise, and editor for the Institutional Risk Analysts. Chris Whalen, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Tom.
Do you want to start with the human CEOs in San Francisco or the humanoid CEO in Poland?
I think the humanoid CEO in Poland is probably more interesting.
I think so too. I mean, what about this? What I mean, on a serious note, I mean, AI. People are trying to wrap their arms around this in all sorts of sectors, but I mean, honestly, you're going to have corporate leadership that is not human.
We already have that.
Oh,
I know. Insert your own joke there. Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Look, this is the latest fad. As 100 years ago in the 1920s, we were going through a series of manias and fads because economic growth is insufficient to feed all of the mouths. So we go out and create new games. That's what this is. Humans always do this. It reminds me of my dog watching television. And when the dog sees a picture of another dog, they're fascinated. Or you guys are old enough. Imagine when we first had television and people were so just amazed by this. They were fascinated. That's what this is.
I am not old enough. I am not old enough. I'm not old enough to remember when people first got television.
Wait, Dan, when you see the TV on, do you look behind it to see if the man is behind there?
I stare at it and I'm fascinated by other humans I see on TV, like a dog. That's what I do. So no, so develop that, Chris. I mean, so you think so AI is not a fad, but you're saying taking it to this extent is?
Yes, I mean, this is just an evolution of very familiar technology. Okay, we have enough computer power now that we can do what Ray Kurzweil talked about 20 years ago, simulated cognition.
Mm-hmm.
That's all this is. There's no intelligence here. It's not thinking about the response and then, giving you an answer. That's not what's going on. This is simply a machine imitating us.
So we're not going to teach it to care about us as individual beings? Wait a minute. I don't want to live in that world. What are you talking about? I'm going back in Plato's cave.
Look, science fiction tells us that machines can become intelligent and sentient. But the reality is no. I mean, have you ever seen a movie called Wife-like? It's very interesting.
Wife-like?
Starts off as, rent it. Oh. Very interesting because, essentially this guy has his wife who's killed replaced with a replicant. Uh-huh. And over time, she learns and starts to hate the guy. And, rightly so. But my point is that we always imagine...
Does she look like a hot Lee Remick?
No, even better. But the point is that the whole thing imagines that the machines are intelligent. And so our narrative is populated with ideas like that. But really, if you talk to technologists about what's going on here, they laugh. If we could get the guys at Google on the phone, they would laugh at all of them.
Okay, so what
really changed?
Okay, so then let's return to terra firma here, and what happens when Kamala Harris and whoever she taps for AI command control get the Google guys on the phone?
Oh, who knows? That might be an interesting conversation. I'm not sure she'll be around. I think we're already starting to see the end game where we move Gavin Newsom into the second position, and then Joe, ascends into heaven sometime next year, and off we go. I thought initially that they were going to send Kamala back to the Senate, and Gavin Newsom was going to take her place as vice president, but it didn't happen.
It's not going to happen.
He
you're underestimating. Well, you're underestimating the identitarian political quotient that's required to meet her.
So has the migrant thing of slapping black Democrats in the face again and again been the test marketing for whether we can just avoid Kamala altogether and move to Gavin?
Well, good question, because normally you would think that the Democratic Party is incapable of saying no to a black female candidate, especially as vice president, right? How do they say no without destroying the party? But meanwhile, they're already destroying the party over Israel, so maybe we'll have another axis of destruction. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about this. The human CEOs. We discussed it a little bit earlier in the show, but this is seems to me an important visual moment for the American people to see and hear about all the names that were in the room for President Xi and gave him a standing O and were dutifully applauding at all of his banal lines about peaceful coexistence. I mean, that was a sickening display, I thought, and I don't think that's going to be lost on a good percentage of the American people.
Oh, no, it was a totally sickening display because look at Xi Jinping, totally incompetent. He has destroyed the Chinese economy, which was looking very promising because it had been allowed to open. Now he has closed it again. So when you think of Xi, think of all the managers in the U.S. I'm not talking about owners who really care about their business, but the managers who are just there to collect a salary. That's Xi Jinping. They don't really care about the outcome. They just care about retaining power and continuance in power. That's it. So, the people in the audience were probably just like Chairman Xi. Rent-seeking people who don't ultimately care.
You guys think that the American people care about CEOs kissing the butt of Xi Jinping?
No.
I don't think. I really think if it's not on TikTok, if they can't have sex with it, if they can't eat it, why would they care? I mean, this is where
Well,
we've fallen now.
So true.
The dying
It's the
citizen.
shiny object, John.
We are
It's
the
gotta
dying
be the shiny object.
Yeah.
Okay, so then react to the reading between the lines that which is it's not that complicated, but you probably have a deeper insight. The reading between the lines of what she had to say about the ongoing economic relationship between China and the United States.
Well, he's trying to figure out a way to repair some of the damage that's been done to China because of first Trump and then Biden's reaction against them and sanctions particularly. It has had an impact on the Chinese economy, very definitely. And so he's in kind of the same position as the Democrats, which is they're both trying to avoid the next leg down. In the U.S., that's very visible. You know, Janet Yellen wanted to sell some 30-year bonds, and she couldn't do it last week. The dealers came to her and said, nope, don't do that. And so they reduced the amount of long bonds they were able to sell. That's bad. That tells you that Jay Powell's losing control of the market. He thought he was in control, but he really wasn't, but we thought he was, right? So what do you do when you start shaking the confidence in both the leaders in China and the U.S., or even have a slight financial hiccup next year before the election? That will be very interesting.
Do you expect the capital flight from China to continue?
Yeah, oh yeah. Anybody who can get value out of China, especially Hong Kong, is going to do it. I mean, look at Singapore. Singapore has exploded because once they shut Hong Kong down and people realize that the Communist Party is not going to allow Hong Kong to continue to pretend to be independent, right? Independent currency, the whole bit. That was the end. All of the free money that's outside the control of the Chinese Communist Party is long gone. But, you know, he shut the window, 4 or 5 years ago on offshore investment.
Yep.
And I think that was the warning that they were having problems in terms of funding their offshore debt. Because they borrow in dollars. Everything is funded with dollars. Belt and Road, all the Chinese projects, right? So now that that's becoming more and more difficult, you can see what's going on in the property sector. The real estate sector in China is a mess. It's orders of magnitude bigger than 2008, if you think of U.S. terms, right? So stay tuned for that one. I think Xi's got a very weak hand, and he's trying to figure out a way to repair it without losing face.
And what about
Remember China? He's the father. That's how they see Xi Jinping. He's the father figure. And if you discredit the father, the whole family is in disarray.
in the United States on the domestic frontier, the Magnificent Seven, and at least the perception based on some data that's released from the government that inflation is cooling, that's going to be enough to buoy things here?
Well, Wall Street would like you to believe that. I think Jay Powell, for better or for worse, is going to make everyone wait. If you go back and read some of his early speeches where he was talking about the double-digit recession during Paul Volcker's term, I think that's the hint you need to pay attention to. He's not going to let this one come back too soon. He's going to wait. And that means that the markets may be disappointed. They are all anticipating several cuts in short-term rates. But here's the thing, Dan. What if the Fed has lost control of the long end of the yield curve? What if they can't prevent long-term rates from rising because of the Treasury's debt burden? That, to me, is the next shoe to drop in this equation.
Chris Whalen is an investment banker, chairman of Whalen Global Advisors, author of Ford Men, From Inspiration to Enterprise, and editor for the Institutional Risk Analyst. Chris, thanks as always for your insights. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
See you.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Would you go to court without a lawyer when the other guy is lawyered up? Or are you going to go it alone and learn law and procedure as you go? When you have an insurance claim for your home or business, it's the same thing.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company.
Insurance companies will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%, and we could do the same for you. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Bettenhausen Mobility is the fastest growing authorized Braun Ability dealer serving the Chicagoland area. Bettenhausen offers a complete lineup of wheelchair accessible vehicles with the options to fit all your mobility needs. As a Braun Ability dealer,